smart. So it looks like July period. Yep. Oh, good. That's it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. Check my audio levels. Cool. Thanks for checking. Awesome. Great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and that could be
Google sessions keep on because they want classroom set up. So I can't set up this.
Alright, there's no way I'm gonna be seen by the camera because we don't sleep.
I don't think so. Maybe.
Sounds good. That's the thing, like my matrix is just my matrix. If it's moved in the program, it's moved, it doesn't. So. How's everybody doing? All right. Good first session? Yeah. Any issues? I'm the program chair. Also for Pete. So anything that you see as an issue I could share that make it better going forward, no? There is, please let me know. Or let somebody be sure. So this is the new venue. It's a little nerve-wracking. I told him we didn't have tables in our room. We walked in, we had tables. It's like, I must have messed up. It was what? Failure. So we'll get started here in about 2 minutes. And we will share a link to some stuff at the end. And we do you're definitely going to be interactive today. We're going to have you see the little STEM challenge. And then you're not just going to half the time do the STEM challenge, it's a short period of time, so it's not like this. You're going to do a couple things that make you feel like you're going to fail a little bit to sort of get that feeling to think about how to interact with students. Alright, you don't need help? Well, I'm going to show you a video of me failing in front of 700 people. So, it happens to everybody. Yep. Actually, Rod, are you okay if I should put them into me so they can start filling that out? Sure. Okay. Alright, so first thing you're going to do for us while people are coming in, if I go to the right side, which one is it? If you go to menti.com and put that code in, we want you to answer the 2 questions for us. I think I might have to press the button. And now I'm going to get out of the way. Okay, we didn't fail. That's good. Came through. keeps going back and forth, like opportunity, frustration, reflection, embarrassment. It's like that positive and negative. How'd it go? Good. Did you have more than 6? Yeah. It filled up? Yeah, it looked good. About 20%. That's good. All right, if everyone has the code, we'll go. Were you able to answer the second question? Or is it waiting for us? I forget which way I set it up. So, all right. Does anyone put that last thing in before as I press the button, it's going to take it away from me. So everyone's got it that wants to put in. One last question. This is a new thing from the computer. I never saw that one before. I thought that was cool. It's interesting sometimes. We have to talk about that. Sir? Yeah. I think there's one more. Oh, is there? I thought that was it. There's 2. Wasn't there? Did I forget to do one?
No, you're good.
Okay. Tell me I failed. Close the door.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we're going to get started on failing forward. It's something Brandon and I have talked about many times. As we get started, I'm Ryan Berger, a kindergarten teacher in southeastern Pennsylvania. I've been teaching kindergarten for 9 years. I'm a Keystone Technology Innovator, a lead learner at Keystones. And today we're just going to, be talking about failure, and we're going to try and push you into some uncomfortable positions. We're going to do some STEM challenges, ask you some questions, have you take a quiz, and just have you fail forward and go through that process. It's really important of failure.
My name is Brandon Letts. I am currently in Cheltenham School District as a supervisor of instructional technology. I'm actually in flux right now. I'm moving to Abington School District as director of innovation. So it's like, I got 2 colleagues, one from Cheltenham, one from Abington. So I'm excited. I'm also the program chair of PEC. I also sit on the board. This is my last year. I'm also the past president of PACT until tonight at like 6:30, and I'm done with all that stuff. So failing forward is something that's like resonates with me, something that I've been talking about for a while. I think it's really important to have the conversation about failure and to make people feel comfortable with failure. So hopefully as we go through the session today, you'll get that experience, but we can give you some strategies and stuff like that. But the key thing is it's about students, right? So, it's great how we feel, but how we make our kids feel. So I think between Ryan and I, you'll get a lot of that today. It's pretty cool. So.
And thanks to Holly for posing for our picture. It's a great job up there. So we did the Mentimeter already.
You want to talk about it at all? Or?
Yeah. We're going to see the results.
Yes. Go back to the results. Do you want to look at the...
Let's go back to the first one.
Yep.
There was one that really stuck out to me that I'll talk about was somebody said not yet. So, failure to me is, you don't know how to do it yet. That's something I tell my kindergarten kids all the time, is, you're not able to read this word or you're not able to read this passage yet, but you will be able to. And just preaching that from the beginning, that if we practice, if we put these things in place, you will become successful. And there was another one I saw, life. It's part of life. We're going to fail. We have some examples of other people talking about failure. It's just something that it happens, and we just have to move forward and embrace it.
Talking about failure, something that I've done in big presentations before. Forget to plug it in, and then you run out of battery power, right? So, you want to see the next one?
Are you afraid to fail? We said there was a lot for sometimes. So that was kind of interesting. I guess why is it sometimes? What keeps you from failing all the time or embracing that? So what's the difference there? That sometimes you're okay to fail and sometimes you're not. This is an image I've seen, and you probably have all seen, is the image of success. It's an iceberg. So you see all the good things on social media. People post on Facebook, on Twitter, all their successes. I do it. You share those lessons in your class that went really well, but we don't show those things that didn't go well. And share those things out there, and then get the feedback from our colleagues to share what didn't work, what went well. And all the things like persistence, being persistent, moving forward, the grit, the dedication, hard work, and just embracing that failure to show more of that. It's not just all good times in the classroom. There are a lot of times that we're going to fail and things aren't going to go well. So this is one of our first little tests for you. You have 60 seconds to come up with the solution. You are going to add just 3 lines to this problem to solve it. So 9999 equals 100. You have 60 seconds to figure out how that equals 100. There we go.
So you take 2 lines, you put 2 perpendicular lines in between the second and the third 9, and you put a forward slash in between the third and the fourth 9. It makes the third and the fourth 9 out of 9 divided by 9 fraction, and 99 plus the 1 will give you 100.
I thought this session was going to be in English.
So we said we're going to put you in uncomfortable situations. So if you teach 11th grade English, this is going to make you feel a little uncomfortable. But yes.
Did anyone else get it? Yeah.
When we looked at this, I didn't get it the first time, and then when I saw the answer, I was like, oh, duh, I should have had that one. But we were going back and forth with different possible answers between the 2 of us.
I think the key thing is with this way, you have to think outside the box though, for 2, right? You're saying draw lines. Well, who would think you could make a plus sign with 2 lines? You can, but if you don't take yourself outside, step back and look at it, you might not think of it in that way. Then because when I first did it, I was putting slashes everywhere. I'm like, this is, and it's like, then you see it, you're like, oh my gosh. Right?
When you were saying it as 9 divided by 9, and I was looking at it as 9 ninths, which is 1 whole. So it's the same thing, but just looking at it from 2 different perspectives. So we're going to have you complete a quick Kahoot, so if you can go to kahoot.it, we'll put up the code. It's a short little quiz, it's like 9 questions.
Get an idea they're not going to be easy. Classic, right? Mm-hmm. So when the Kahoot first came out, those failure moments when you're in front of talking at safety with juniors in high school, and the next thing you know, before the name filter, the name came out, and some of the names that came up, the superintendent's sitting in the back, like, we're going to switch this.
it, so and then they meet Is everyone in that wants to be in? Anybody else? Good? Smart group. Yeah? Not bad. We all love law firm second place. I got that one wrong. So look, that was a tough. That was good. All right. How many fins does a goldfish have? All right. That's a worse failing question, right? Kindergarten kids know that. All right, buddy's still in the lead here. John Craig better get this. All right, 7. Buddy. Yeah. Still the tallest, it just wasn't the stuff. I think that's my favorite. Sadly, that's probably going up. Right? See, rise. This was the one too. By a half, and you get 70. But he's still leaving that. But he's killing it. How many layers are the Earth? How many layers are there to the All right. Yeah, I saw that. All right, so we handed out bags. You're probably going to have to share the bags that are there. You have 13 popsicle sticks. Might be one or two over. I had my kindergarten kids count these out. You have 3 rubber bands, and yeah, I paid them. And then a marshmallow. You have to use those supplies, all of the supplies, to make a catapult to shoot the marshmallow into the cup. We're gonna give you
So we'll work in
2 feet, whoever.
I mean, if you have one to yourself, fine, but if you don't have a bag in front of you, I do have one bag, extra bag over here, so if this group doesn't have anything, or somebody really wants to do this on their own, Alright, and also, you cannot Google. No cheating. No Google. You just gotta do it out of your head. No Google. No Google. And we do have one extra bag for someone else.
all supplies, guys. All supplies. All the rubber bands, all the popsicle sticks.
Use everything. We didn't say that, so. Yep.
2 minutes left. Have you done this before?
No, that's impressive. We'll see if you can down.
I think the toughest part is getting the cup that once you build it, you still have to get it in.
Yeah, that's probably my downfall.
Oh! Does it have to be?
Wow.
There you go.
Okay, so we've got.
Watch out. One minute.
Coordination.
I know, it's still this thing.
45 seconds.
We did it the first time.
More alcohol here. Alright, let's see here.
No. 17 seconds. Did you get it ready? Alright, time's up. So, your catapult you just created, put it in the bag. Put it back in the bag. Because we're giving you another bag. But before we, I said to Ryan, we probably should have talked a little bit about how you felt from the Kahoot. We got so excited to do the STEM challenge that we did. So how did, you can talk about the Kahoot or doing this activity. How did you feel? Terrible? Stressful? We didn't really give any direction, right? I mean, we just said, here, go. And then we said you have 3 minutes to do it. You're not an hour to figure it out. You can't use Google. You just have to sit and try to use your brain and work it out. So it puts you probably totally in a stressful spot.
Yeah, I found myself not wanting to do it. I wanted to opt out. I was like, you got this, I so usually I almost do all the time. So that was like, stop me in the end. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and students go out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If they don't like, oh my gosh, it usually ends up being that extrovert in the classroom that ends up taking it and taking the reins, right? And doing it, especially if it makes you feel that way. How else do you feel? Yeah.
I wanted to cheat. I saw that they were having success. And I was like, yes, let me look there. I wanted to.
And we didn't say you couldn't.
Right.
The only thing we said is you had to use everything, right? And then you had to try to make you go into the cup. So, how well can you do? Answering all those questions, and only having a short period of time, you probably could have figured a lot of them out if you had a little bit longer time, right? But do you still feel stressed a little bit with answering those questions? Now, what if we would have said, there's a $100 bill up here, whoever wins gets it. Now you would be like, oh, we're pushing for it. But anything else with the Kahoot? Anybody? Yeah?
I know, I work in a cyber school and we play Kahoots a lot, and it really put me in the path of my students, kind of just thinking about, man, some of these guys probably get so stressed out.
Yep.
Yeah, so some of those times when you set the timers, it's like, do I want to give them 10 seconds or 30 seconds? So I was trying to put you in a stressful situation, so as little time as possible. If there was 5 seconds, I probably would have done that. But as I said too, like something I did this activity with my kindergarten kids before this week, just to see how it would go. And again, going back to that telling the kids, hey, you might not be able to do it this time, but if we look at what's working, what's not working, then you can have those conversations. Well, that group over there was successful, so what did they do that worked? And you guys over here maybe weren't as successful, what didn't work? And have those conversations, and then what we're going to do now is have you go through it again. You have those conversations, what worked, what didn't work. So we're going to give you the same time limit. You have a new bag of materials, larger popsicle sticks, but we're going to give you something a little different this time. There is an image to kind of give you a clue of maybe what you want to do, give you a little direction.
I didn't say it was $100. That was you were buddy. Yeah. You just got one wrong. What'd you get wrong? How many referees? Well, you're not a football guy.
What's funny is the Mount Everest. Because I was when we were doing this, I was asking them the question, and I'm like, so which one? And then when you tell the answer, discover before you discover.
Yeah, I'm always attuned to this because I like asking those types of things. Super smart.
I see stuff happening a lot when you're out.
Rubber band where they
She's catapulting things.
Why do you eat marshmallows? Next thing you know, your students probably flip it off and try to catch it around. Now we're gonna have this is good. Got me covered. Hey! Got it?
Love the ride.
I just imagine the mess.
You went outside.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
If you had opened your mouth,
All right, 24 seconds left. In the We're gonna get like a bill, like there's marshmallows smashed into the carpet at the convention center. That would be that is like how my life works. So that's my life. All right, time's up. So just with a little bit of information, the students were able to make better ones. Some did a good job the first time, but there's times we want to give students information. There's other times we don't. We want them to fail, right, and learn from it, collaborate, and it'd probably be over a longer period, like you do with kindergarten, right?
Did you feel a little better this time having the picture?
Yes.
Less stressful? So, we're going to go into our story of where this kind of fail forward came from. Brandon and I met at Keystones, and we'll get into that, but something that resonated with me, and then I have a little video that kind of shows who I am as a teacher and the kids I work with every day. We were reading all the different gingerbread stories, and then we had a day we went to the gym and had different STEM activities that they had to complete. And it's putting them in those positions to challenge them to see how they do. Remind them, might not work this time, but we'll push forward. And I also, watching it, realized I failed. That was my first time using the iMovie trailer feature, and I said they build cardboard bridges, but then the picture after it wasn't, because that was the very first time. So, I'm putting myself out there to take that risk to learn iMovie, become better at it, and use it. I use these videos to communicate with my families and show them what the kids are doing. So just taking that risk, and maybe next time I'll have the pictures in line with what's being said. So in KTI, Keystone Technology Innovators 2017, I was in Brandon's session on digital storytelling. And I really didn't remember much of the session. I know he was talking about different apps like Adobe, Spark, and things like that. It just was in one ear and out the other. But he talked about failing forward, and that really just stuck to me. It's like, you're going to fail, things are going to go wrong, technology's not going to work. It's not if it's going to fail, but when it's going to fail. And just embracing it and moving on from it and learning from those experiences. And I was just like, well, why am I not doing that? I wanted to do more STEM in my classroom. I wanted to do more technology in the classroom, but I was kind of scared, like, all right, if I make a mistake, what are the kids going to think? What's going to happen if I'm getting observed by my principal? What's she going to think? And I teach kindergarten, so you really never know what's going to happen. You have everything planned, and somebody throws up, and all the plans go out the window. But I know I'm going to fail forward. I'm going to take those risks. And like I said, I have a poster in the front of my classroom that says "yet," and just kind of remind them before we do something, tap on it and say, hey, you might not do it this time, but we'll do it the next time. And for principals and administrators, my principal is here. This was something that really stuck to me because I had her support. It was my first observation that she was coming in to do. And I was like, hey, I'm going to do a STEM lesson. It's early October with kindergarten kids, so you just really don't know what's going to happen. They don't know the routines. They have to go to the bathroom. They don't know where the bathroom is. And I went to her. I said, "Hey, I want to try this, but it's my formal observation. I don't want to be deducting." She's like, "Let's do it. We'll talk about it afterward." And to me, that was like really important. She supported me, and we had real conversations afterwards about what worked, what didn't. And she didn't deduct points because kids weren't doing it well or whatever. She knew I was taking a risk. So for principals and administrators, that's really important to support your staff if they're taking those risks and stepping outside the box. One of the things about failing, we went to Chesterbrook Academy in Westchester, and I saw kids doing a keynote activity where they were listening to their teacher's voice, and it was like a CBC word, so it was act, and then the kids had to write it on the board and take a picture. I was like, oh, this is great. We're doing this stuff in my class. I'm going to do this in my class. I'm in the session. I'm making it. I have it ready for the next day. So this is what it looks like. I have the template. I'm ready to share with all my kids on their iPads. You can see the little audio button. The kids just press on that. It's my voice. It's going to say a CBC word. Then they write it on a whiteboard, and then they're going to take a picture. Except for there was one problem that I didn't know about. You had to have an Apple ID for all your students. And so all of a sudden that pops up on 18 kindergarten kids' iPads. It's pandemonium. The kids are running around the classroom like kindergarten cop, and I don't know what to do. So it was just like, everybody stop, everybody freeze. It didn't work. I didn't expect this to happen. Hit the cancel button. To hit the cancel, it comes back up. Hit the cancel button. You had to hit it like 20 times. It finally went away. So we just kind of moved forward. I was like, all right, everybody get out their whiteboard. I took my iPad and I projected this on the board for everybody to see. I hit the button and then they could hear it and we could do it as a class. So it was kind of, I admitted, hey, it didn't work. We're just going to move on and learn from it. And still waiting to get those Apple IDs. Once we do, it won't look like this in my classroom anymore. Dan Orlovsky, his wife is he's married to my coworker's cousin. So I reached out to her and said, hey, would you mind talking to Dan and see if he would do a video? And we had a Flipgrid. He was going to do the Flipgrid. He couldn't figure it out, so failing forward, he just texted the video to my coworker. So he works for ESPN, played 12 years in the NFL, and this is a little video that he talks about failure.
What's up, everyone? This is Dan Orlovsky. Let's talk today about failure, or really failing forward. And when we talk about failure, it's really in direct contrast to achievement or success or climbing up towards that goal. And the reality is, to go up, we must go down. We must suffer failure and setbacks, because when we're going and achieving those goals or having the success we want, we're really not forced to ask ourselves the question, are we working as hard as we possibly can? Are we as focused as we should be? Are the details where they need to be? But when we suffer some form of a failure or a setback, then we're forced to ask those questions. Man, can I work a little bit harder? Can I be a little bit more focused? Can I be more efficient with my time and commit to what I'm trying to achieve? And so here's the reality. You either win and achieve that success and go climb towards that goal, or you learn. There is no failure. It's a process. So either go get what you're looking to go get, or learn from it and ask yourselves those questions and refine and get better and get better. Either win or learn. There is no failure.
I thought it was a great message from somebody who played at such an elite level in the NFL. You know, if you go on this process, you have a goal that you want to get to, and there really is no failure. You're just learning. Somebody said in the Mentimeter, first attempt at learning. So you didn't get it this time. Sit back, think, did I not plan correctly? Did I have all the materials? What do I need to do differently to achieve this the next time? Do I have to teach my kids something else? Do I have to give them more information? Do I want to give them less information? But have those conversations with yourself. But there really is no failure. It's just getting to that goal.
All right, so my story. So I do a keynote speech, and I have a lot of mantras and stuff like that. And one of the big things for me is talking about failing forward. And I also, when I work with my teachers, I talk about how important it is to everyone's at different levels. So it's really important that you don't, even if you don't know something, it's okay. You're going to learn at whatever level you're at. So, you know, and the teachers know that. And I've had teachers come up to me and be like, you know, I always say, like, one thing at a time. Don't try to do it all at once. And they'll come to me and be like, you know, I listened, I'm doing one thing at a time, and I'm trying, and I'm actually able to, you know, post something on the smart board, and I'm finally doing it. And, like, it's starting to resonate. It takes time. Like, you have to say it multiple times. You can't just say it once. So I live and eat and, you know, drink that, and the teachers know as time goes on. So, you know, Ryan said it. I always tell people, it's not if technology fails, it's when. For some reason, the first year I started in Cheltenham, every time I went to Myers Elementary, I would have some type of technical issue with the smart board. Every time I went. And it was like comical, because I'm like, here I am having troubles, but I was okay with that, because look, I'm the expert, I'm having troubles, but it's okay, because I can model for you. You don't freak out, you deal with it, Ryan talked about it. You do it a different way. You punt and you tell the teachers or the students you're working with, we're going to punt right now. We'll come back to this later, but you don't let it overwhelm you, right? So here's a video I want to show. And I know it's old, but it gets really good.
Whoa, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's nothing else left to do, is it?
So, common sense, show this to kids before too, and they're like, just lift your foot and start going up the escalator. Use them as stairs. But we have to understand, sometimes kids don't, if you don't have the experience of the mind, you might not know that you can do that, right? And it seems comical, and we can't assume that students or teachers that we work with, wherever you're doing, know, and I had some of the conversation earlier, where sometimes, like, I'll tell people, like, listen, I'm going to come down, I'm not going to insult your intelligence, but I'm going to ask you some simple questions first, and I assume you know them, but I can't assume you know them. So, and if I say, I'm like, yeah, of course I know that. I'm like, well, I just wanted to make sure, like, I assumed you did, but I'm gonna work my way up. And people know that's the way I work. And, you know, and I've insulted a few people, and I would say it's better to be respected than liked, but if I go through that process, though, I'm not missing out with somebody, if that makes sense. So, this video, this is my biggest failure experience.
I want to be on this one.
So
all right,
700
we can get a show, and then we'll be good.
They're recording it right audio.
And what's my, what?
I think I did it backwards. Or I messed it up. I might have failed. So what happened there, so I'm in front of the people, I force quit my computer, which freezes the computer. I'm doing my 60 and 60 presentation, which I need all 60 minutes. And it was frozen dead. So I'm scrambling. You heard my, like, in my voice, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do this. And finally I said, all right, I'm gonna start off the top of my head. I had the tools, at least a couple tools memorized, and I started going through, started presenting. I restarted the computer. It took me 5 minutes. Crazy, no one left, because I'm like, I look like I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But the computer froze. I did what I had to do, and finally got it started. I ended up getting through all 60 tools and stuff like that. And then it was at the end, I had a lady come up to me, and she was like tears, and she was like, yeah, I saw you had troubles, but what you do is so, like, you do the work we can't do. Like, it blew my mind. And another guy comes up and he says, you're keynoting my next event. And he says, the way you handled yourself, and you didn't, I literally wanted to get in the ball and just wait for everyone to leave, and then I could open my eyes and leave the space, but I didn't. But he said, the way you handled yourself and you got through it, you're going to keynote my next event. And I actually went to New York to a BOCES, and I keynoted for a bunch of superintendents, because it's going to happen, right? I mean, that, and mine's on YouTube. But the idea is we're going to fail. So I do a lot of stuff with drones. This is just a picture from the internet, but one of the students so the students are flying the drones, and next thing I know, a kid comes with long hair, comes with a drone hanging from their head, right? It's like, oh, so we're going to, from now on, when we fly the drones, first of all, as we behind, we're going to fly them this way, and let's always fly them above the tallest person's head. And usually I'm the tallest person in the room. So, but you got to learn. I mean, luckily we were able to get it out and stuff like that, but could you imagine, went home and a chunk of hair was missing from the student's head? So, so the other thing, 2 things here, you can read that. So the whole idea, now kids are experimenting, failing. You've seen the videos of probably like a 1-year-old or a 6-month-old that can actually use an iPad or a phone, and they can follow shapes and go to YouTube or to that app they like at such a young age. And it's because they're failing. Back in the day, I think we failed in our ways using tactile things. I mean, aging myself, but the kids now totally think differently. Now, the video there, it's me and my son. I'm helping him with to build something with Legos, and I thought it'd be cool to do the record it and make it fast and to stop and see what it looks like. And I don't know if you've seen it yet or not. So we're working together, and I realized that it would slowly get in front of me, and then he would pull back, and then it would slowly come to me. And this was a realization for me. It's like, I got to make sure I do a better job with not, because I like Legos too. So, but I mean, it really was a realization for me that even if he can't do it, and that's why I think I'm pulling it away, I had to give him a chance to fail and communicate with him what he should do and not just take it. So it sort of happened by accident, and I just thought that was like the realization for me. It's like, you got to sort of step back, detach, and look at the situation. See, there I have it in my hand right now. So I thought that was important. You always hear Thomas Edison. He said, if you haven't failed, I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And some people argue that he actually stole the light bulb and stuff like that from somebody else, right? But it's that idea. It's a mindset, right? And the failure that you felt today, that's okay, right? You just have to learn from it. And I tell my teachers, if you fail and you fail the same way again and fail the same way again, now we got an issue because you're not learning from that failure, right? So it's just, and own it. As an administrator, I'd rather a teacher say, this utterly failed, or from sitting and doing an observation and they fail, but they work with the students and explain what the failure is, and the student sees that, wow, the teacher fails, that means I can fail too. And I feel as time goes on from kindergarten, and we start to get into testing and stuff like that, that creativity that students have starts to disappear, right? And there's the STEM challenge that kindergartners do, like the spaghetti challenge. Have you seen that before? There's actually stats that say that, maybe you can back me up on this, where kindergartners do better and build taller towers than 4th graders do. And it's because they're not afraid to fail and try. So we need to figure out a way to stop, taking the kids and forcing them to that box and let them be more creative, because we need, people having kids graduating that are going to be more creative, collaborative, stuff like that. And I feel like we're sucking that away from them. Sorry, I got on my little soapbox there. All right.
So we're going to have you turn and talk to the people around you. Just talk about a time, a lesson, whether it's in your classroom, life, that you have failed. What did you learn from the failure, and what did you do differently the next time? So just take a minute or two and turn and talk to the people around you about a time you failed.
Working with technology, try different things. I remember one time deciding to we're like, okay, well, we know not to ever just push the button. We had that. It was like, I think it was like 12 years ago. I remember it broke something. So then we had to figure out how to downgrade it.
Alright, we're gonna comment up on your conversations.
Pretty good? Different? Maybe hands-on, you know? I don't know what I set those videos up, I'm not sure what happened with them.
Part of the presentation. Yep. See, this is if you do fail, you can see the on purpose.
All right, we're gonna. We would. It might be a mad, since it's free lunch this year. It might be a mad dash. So if we can get you out in a few minutes before the crowd, we're gonna try to do that. We got a few other things we want to do. Any key things that came out from your conversation with the turn and talk about failure? Yeah.
One of the things we discussed was the concept that she was saying that her students were failing and she came over and rescued them right away. It wasn't even her own discomfort with failing, but it was this idea that, you know, it was hard for them. She was uncomfortable with them struggling with it. This idea that we need to be comfortable with things not being easy. And in doing so, she models for them, like, hey, this is just part of the process. It's because hurry up, we're going to bail you out. And I think as teachers, sometimes we take away the innate natural ability to problem solve and show them, like, oh, let me fix this for you. This is uncomfortable, you should feel this way.
Rigor, right? Looking for rigor, right? Yeah.
One of the things that came to mind as we were talking was that as educators, it's easy for us to forget that in the real world, when you fail, you usually can get a do-over, right? So we talked about I failed twice with PDE in the last week, but it just required sending an email saying, oops, that was my bad, can I do it again? And I think a lot of times our kids don't feel that. They feel like, oh, if I screw up this quiz, if I mess up this assignment, that's it. And so really giving them the opportunity to fail and try again and fail and try again and to continue to come back is something that we have to keep in mind.
Anything else? Yeah.
I teach after school for 3rd through 8th grade kids bird brain technologies, and we do arts and bots. And you have a bit, you have the wires, and you have coding, you have all these things. And within the first hour, we share our mistakes as if they're like so glorified. And so someone was sitting there and they had a problem, and they go, "Wait a minute, I had the bit in upside down, or I had it in port 1 and I connected port 2." I always go, "Can you share that?" And they're like, "Yes." And so they stand up. So then we make, by the end of 2 hours, we probably have all these things in people's brains to troubleshoot with because everybody else shared their problem. So they don't have as many problems because let's say, wait, did I put it upside down like this? Did I put it in the wrong port? Did I have battery on? Did I code it wrong? You know, they have all these different things, but we share it as if it's a big celebration that we love our mistakes because that's how we work.
That's awesome. Yeah.
To piggyback on that, we did, like, before we started the STEM activity or whatever, we would ask them to guess how many times they think they're going to fail. And it's usually less than when they're successful. So they were like, oh, that was going to be really hard. And it wasn't. So just to celebrate successes too.
Anything else?
So we did, before this, we sent out Flipgrid. I see some people that are sitting in the back participated in this. If you guys want, you can scan the QR code. We would like you guys to, at some point, doesn't have to be now, is take this Flipgrid, add your own responses, but also share this with your classes and your students and show them, failure and all these conversations, have these conversations, use these STEM challenges or other STEM challenges in your class to put your kids in these different situations. But take this resource, use it with your staff. If you can, add your own response at some point.
And we'll add this to the as a handout in the presentation too. So if you don't get it or you've got a letter wrong, that's fine. And then we're just going to end you with you go ahead. Sorry.
No, the whole point is we want you to embrace failure and failing forward. It's going to happen. And Brandon and I are both big Eagles fans, so we're just going to leave it with this, and that's it.
You've had a unique journey here. What would you like people to kind of take from your journey the last few years and kind of be inspired by?
I think the big thing is don't be afraid to fail. In our society today, Instagram, Twitter, it's a highlight reel. It's all the good things, and then when you look at it, you think like, wow, when you have a rough day or your life's not as good as that, like, you're failing. Failure is part of life. That's a part of building character and growing. Like, without failure, who would you be? I wouldn't be up here if I hadn't fallen thousands of times, made mistakes. We all are human. We all have weaknesses, and I think throughout this, just being able to share that and be transparent. I know when I listen to people speak and they share their weaknesses, I'm listening because I can resonate. So I'm not perfect. I'm not Superman. We might be in the NFL and we might have just won the Super Bowl, but hey, we still have daily struggles. I still have daily struggles. So, but that's where my faith comes in. That's where my family comes in. And I think when you look at a struggle in your life, just know that that's just an opportunity for your character to grow. And that's really just been the message. Simple. Like, if something's going on in your life and you're struggling, embrace it because you're growing. I'm not really worried about my future right now. I'm grateful to be a part of the Philadelphia Eagles. I said when I signed with the Eagles.
All right, that gets into. So that's Fail Forward. Hopefully you learned something today about failing forward. Hopefully you take that back to your students, and we appreciate your time today. Thanks, everybody. You want to take your stuff with you and show if you're successful? Or? Yes, you can.